Hello everyone, my name is Ozoihu, a legal practitioner and a legal ambassador for C1 Foundation. You are welcome to my live presentation with the title Conquer Addiction. Addiction is said to be the daily involvement of substance or activities despite the harm it might cause. When I mean by substance, I mean nicotine, alcohol, cocaine, drugs, and so on. When I mean activities, I mean sex, I mean gambling, I mean social media, a lot of things. Even pornographic movies involved. Addiction is like an obsession. When you don't control it, it becomes a part of you. It consumes you. A lot of people often ask this question: is it possible to beat an addiction? Now the question is, do you really want to beat, or are you just asking the question to cover up something? Because of course, yes, it is possible to beat an addiction. But asking this question is not going to help us in trying to beat your addiction. For you to beat your addiction, you have to first of all decide on your own and not to ask questions about if it's possible. But you have to take the first step before every other thing is going. Yes, I know that sometimes it's always hard for someone to beat an addiction. It's always hard sometimes because when you're addicted to something, it becomes a bigger part of you. You tend to always want to do it. You can't do without it. You always feel like it is all you need to be complete. That is what addiction can do to you. And a lot of people just start up as just fun. A lot of people don't know that what they were doing will lead to addiction. You understand? Just like taking alcohol, sleeping around, watching pornography movie, and other sorts of things. People don't actually know that all these things can lead to addiction. They don't actually know. Nobody is unplanned. They don't really know that these kind of things can lead to addiction. But at some point, when they see themselves constantly repeating that same thing, it turns to an addiction. Mind you that what you do once cannot be considered as an addiction. For instance, you go out, you have fun, you drank too much alcohol, and you're away coming back home, you had an accident. It cannot be considered an addiction because it's a one-time thing. But when you constantly repeat it, that is when it becomes a part of you. That is when you can call it an addiction. Now, a lot of people might be addicted to something without even knowing. There are so many symptoms that shows that you are addicted to something without even knowing. The first is when you see yourself doing some things that are very harmful, but yet you don't care. You don't feel like there's a need for you to quit. That is an addiction. The second is when you see yourself hindering yourself from the things you once loved, be it family, be it friend, be it sports, be it talent. You hinder yourself from a lot of things that you once loved. That is an addiction. The third is when you decide to keep it a secret. Because when you do something wrong and you're constantly repeating something, you know that people around you will notice. You tend to keep it secret. That is the symptoms that shows that you have been addicted to that thing. Because you don't want anybody to know. You always keeping it a secret. The next one is when you have this defense mechanism. When your family members want to talk about it, you always try to build a wall or bridges around what you are addicted to, telling them, no, I'm only using the pain, I'm only using the drugs because of pain relief, I'm using these drugs because of anxiety, because of depression. You are using that to cover what you're doing. When you're addicted to something, you tend to cover for them. You get to cover for it. The next one is the risk factors. You always prepare to take risk for what you are addicted to. You always prepare to cover up for it. You will prepare to fight anybody for it. Because you will not be seeing what people are seeing when you are addicted. You will only be seeing yourself and the fact that you are doing the right thing. The next step is when you find out that you cannot be able to stop. Like when you are addicted to something, you can't be able to do without it. You can't go a day without it. You will have to always want to do that. You always want to take the drugs, you always want to take cocaine, you always want to smoke marijuana, you always find yourself not wanting to stop it. That is a great sign for addiction. That is a very, very great sign for addiction. So if you ever find yourself in any of these symptoms, please get help. Get help, get social help, get health care help, go for health aids, therapies, talk to people. Because when you're addicted to something, the only way for you to be able to help yourself is when you have someone you trust. You don't shy away from people. You don't shy away from people when you are addicted, and when you, especially when you want to quit addiction. You have to be around people who will help you conquer addiction. Now, there are so many ways that one can overcome addiction. The first step is for you to decide to quit. That is the first great step, because making a decision on yourself to quit means that you have understood there is a problem within you and you've decided to fix it. That is a very great step. So once you follow this step, it helps you to quit and conquer addiction. The second is for you to prepare yourself. When you prepare yourself in conquering addiction, it shows that you've already decided, and now the next step is to prepare. You have to just prepare yourself by removing everything that reminds you of what you're addicted to. If you're addicted to marijuana, you remove it from any areas around you. If you're addicted to pornographic movie, you take it off from your house. If you're addicted to any other thing, you prepare to take it off from yourself. Take it away from your side. Don't meet up with friends that remind you of what you're trying to conquer, trying to prevent, trying to quit. Because addiction is not something you just sit down and decide. It is something that you have to, it's a kind of a continuous process. You have to continuously do it, and also stick around with people who will help you see reasons, who will help you conquer what you want to come out from. Another one is for you to seek a social support. Yes, loneliness is one thing that can prevent you from conquering addiction. When you want to conquer addiction, you feel like you want to stay in your own space, you want to just be in your own space, you want to be alone. That is one thing that can prevent you, that is one thing that can hinder you, the process of conquering addiction. You have to be around people, your loved ones, your family, everybody you love. Be around them. Be it one person that you know you trust. Be around them, so that when you feel like, oh, I'm tired of this, because when you're trying to conquer addiction, you will feel depressed, you will have anxiety, because this is something you're already able to talk to you out of. They're going to be able to talk to you out of it. They're going to talk you out of it. They're going to be able to direct you and let you know that what you're doing is the right thing, you should keep it up. Even when you want to make that little mistake, they will be able to help you, guide you, and prevent you from making any mistakes. Another one is to seek health support. Go for therapy, meet medical doctors, meet people that will help you in able to conquer your addiction. You cannot do it alone, because there are different treatments for different addiction. So you might be suffering from alcohol addiction, and you think the same treatment for alcohol addiction is the same with marijuana addiction. No, that is different. The treatment for alcohol addiction is so different from cocaine addiction. So every addiction has its own treatment. You have to meet the right medical help so that they can be able to guide you on a particular treatment you have to use. Now, if you're an addicted person, if you have someone here watching this video and you have one time been an addict, if you have one time been an addict or you are still an addict, this article is for you. All you have to do is to get the complete article as I see one Usher store for just 4 minutes to help you change your life. You can be able to conquer addiction. Don't ever allow yourself or anybody around you tell you can't. You first have to decide, make this decision within yourself to conquer this addiction. This is what is going to help you. If you're someone who has loved ones who are also an addict, this article is also for them. Even if you have kids, brothers, sisters, who you don't know if they are addicts or not, who might be doing some things that they might not even know that is an addiction. They might be doing some things but we not know it's an addiction. Because addiction comes from things that brings pleasure. When you do things that you love, you understand? When they bring you pleasure, when you do it for fun, you continue doing it, and with the continuous process, you get addicted to it. Your body masters it. So if you have anybody like that, don't forget to get this article for them and let it change their life. All you have to do is to go to our C1 Usher store for just 4 million. Now, for any further questions, legal advice, anything you want to know about this article, or any questions you want to ask me personally, our contact address will be at the back of the article waiting for you. Thank you all for your time, and God bless.